Dorgu, Fernandes, Dorgu again. Patrick Dorgu! Oh,
2 games, 2 of the Premier League's biggest benchmarks. Manchester City dismantled.
I believe that Carrick has found a good formula that is a good balance between defensive stability and good technical level.
Arsenal breached at the Emirates. 3 goals conceded for the first time in over a year. This isn't noise, it's a pattern forming.
A lot of their players are back now and they're producing. But as we know, you win 1-2 games for Man United, fantastic. Particularly to beat City, to come to Arsenal but I felt United would get a result today. I was thinking maybe more of a draw.
Under Michael Carrick, Manchester United have gone from passive and predictable to bold, vertical and ruthlessly opportunistic. A derby win that shut down City without surrendering control. Then a night in North London where Arsenal, almost at full strength, top of the league, unbeaten at home since May, were punished for every lapse. The numbers hint at something deeper. United conceding possession by choice, not weakness. Arsenal with 56% of the ball, yet fewer clear openings. United scoring 3 away to the league leaders, something they hadn't done since 2018. And moments of pure execution. Brian Mbeumo striking again against another title rival, Patrick Dorgu from range, and Micheal Cunha sealing it late with a goal that silenced the Emirates.
For Arsenal in the league, how they were doing in the other competitions, you're thinking that they'd be full of confidence. We saw the same against Forest last week, previously against Liverpool. They looked tentative and they looked very, very predictable going forward.
This is not a new manager bounce built on luck. It's structure, courage and clear intent, appearing faster than anyone expected. So what exactly has Carrick changed? Why do United suddenly look comfortable suffering and deadly when it matters? And is this the beginning of a genuinely unplayable Manchester United, or just the most convincing illusion the league has seen this season? This is why these wins weren't accidents, and why the rest of the Premier League is starting to take notice. Before we talk about how Manchester United is looking unplayable, we have to go back to just how low things had actually gotten, because Michael Carrick didn't inherit a normal dressing room situation. He inherited a club living in a weekly state of absolute emergency. By early January, the mood around Old Trafford wasn't about mounting a top 4 chase or building something exciting. It was pure survival through reputational harm. Ruben Amorim's tenure in United ended in genuine turbulence, with United sitting 6th after 20 games, already 17 points behind Arsenal at the top, and having won just 3 of their last 11 matches at the point the decision was finally made. That 3 wins in 11 statistic matters enormously because it wasn't just about the disappointing results. It was the actual shape and feel of the performances, completely disjointed phases, unclear spacing between units, and a team that genuinely looked like different players were playing different games within the same 90 minutes. And then it all spilled messily into the public eye. Coverage noted that Amorim had just come off a frustrating 1-1 draw with Leeds United, followed immediately by a tense press conference where he felt forced to defend his authority and even directly referenced the mounting criticism around him, an outburst that became a genuine tipping point. In modern Premier League football, you can lose matches and still look like you understand what you are as a team, like you have an identity. United weren't just losing games, they were being systematically exposed in the ways that hurt most. Defensive structure breaking down completely under pressure, and entire matches turning into individual firefighting rather than collective football. Analysis of Amorim's departure pointed directly at the recurring themes: tactical rigidity that wouldn't adapt, poor results piling up relentlessly, mounting external pressure, and a visible breakdown in squad confidence. Plus this growing sense that the system simply wasn't adapting to changing circumstances. In early January, Manchester United's season hit rock bottom. Ruben Amorim was dismissed after 14 turbulent months that brought more questions than answers. Darren Fletcher stepped in temporarily while the club considered Michael Carrick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the permanent role. Days later, things got worse. United crashed out of the FA Cup at home to Brighton, losing 2-1, their earliest exit at this stage since 2013-14. Brighton dominated a United side clearly in transition. Brajan Gruda scored early. Danny Welbeck doubled the lead against his former club, and though Benjamin Šeško pulled one one back, United couldn't force extra time. A late red card for Shea Lacey sealed a result that left fans stunned and lost. This wasn't just a cup exit, it was a symbol of an entire season falling apart. When a club like United crashes out of the FA Cup this early, it exposes something deeper than one bad performance. League form was shaky, confidence was visibly crumbling. The safety nets, cup runs, tactical consistency, squad cohesion were all gone. This wasn't one isolated failure. It was a steady, painful unraveling. Under Amorim, the criticism wasn't just about formations, it was about inflexibility. United seemed stuck in rigid ideas while opponents adapted around them. The system wasn't inherently broken, it just stopped evolving to match what was actually happening in games. And that inflexibility killed belief from within. That Brighton defeat coming so soon after Amorim's exit crystallized what a genuine crisis looks like at Manchester United. Not just bad results, but the complete removal of every avenue fans once looked to for hope. No stability, no clear identity, no confidence, nothing left to hold on to. When Michael Carrick walked back into the manager's role on January 13th, 2026, the brief from the club wasn't vague or philosophical. United's own statement framed it clearly: get the group back to the standards that we expect and pull everyone together fast. 2 league matches later, the most important thing isn't just that United have 6 points from 6. It's how those points were actually won. Because Carrick's early United don't look like a side barely surviving on pure emotion and adrenaline. They look like a side that has genuinely changed its entire operating system. Clearer spacing between units, sharper decision-making, and a willingness to let opponents have the ball as a deliberate trap, not a desperate concession. The easiest misconception is thinking United have become better simply by keeping the ball more. That's absolutely not the story here. Against Manchester City, United had only 31.8% possession, but they produced a massive 2.27 XG compared to City's tiny 0.45, with 7 shots on target to City's single effort. That's not a smash and grab smothering, that's genuine territorial control without the ball, control of where the game is actually played and what kinds of chances exist for both teams. Then, away at Arsenal, United again accepted long spells without the ball, 43.4% possession, and still won 3-2. Arsenal had 15 shots to United's 10 and significantly more touches in the box, 28 to just 9. But here's the detail that really matters. Arsenal's expected goals were heavily set-piece driven, 0.81 from set plays versus just 0.39 from open play. In other words, United largely prevented Arsenal from generating clean, repeatable chances in flowing open play, then lost one chaotic corner sequence late. That pattern, limit open play quality ruthlessly, win the crucial moment battles, punish errors instantly, is the clear tactical fingerprint of Carrick's first fortnight in charge. Match reporting spells out the narrative of that Emirates win clearly. United equalised by immediately pouncing on Zubimendi's mistake, went ahead through Dorgu's clinical strike, conceded that set-piece equaliser, and then hit back within just 2 minutes and 58 seconds through Matthias Cunha. That last part is the real Carrick tell, the signature. Old United, recent United anyway, often treated momentum swings like dangerous storms to just survive and weather. Carrick's United treat them like genuine invitations to attack. Even when Arsenal thought they'd rescued a point and shifted momentum, United's response was immediate and brutally direct. Midfield bypassed with one pass, defensive line forced to turn and chase. One decisive action, game over. This is what becoming scary actually looks like in real football terms. Not constant total dominance, but the ability to pick high leverage moments and execute them perfectly. Early in most managers' runs, you usually see tons of experimentation and rotation. Carrick has done the complete opposite. He's stabilised the spine and dramatically simplified individual responsibilities. Casemiro has been used as both a controller and a collision winner, protecting the central areas so United can step out and press aggressively without being split open immediately. Kobbie Mainoo has played with real discipline, not asked to be everywhere at once, just asked to be in the right places at the right times, so transitions don't turn into exhausting track meets. Bruno Fernandes is being treated like a tactical trigger, not a passenger. His positioning actively helps decide when United jump aggressively and when they hold shape. And then there's the genuine shapeshifter in Carrick's plan, Patrick Dorgu. Match reports describe him looking more like a forward than a fullback as he kept his place and scored again. That matters because it tells you the system is specifically designed to create attacking threat from unexpected zones, not just rely on a striker staying hot. This is also why Bryan Mbeumo has become so central to the early Carrick story. His strike against Arsenal was his 50th Premier League goal, and that this season alone he's scored against Liverpool, Manchester City and Arsenal. That's genuinely elite big game production, and Carrick is clearly building transition patterns that put Mbeumo in decision-making situations rather than isolated on the touchline. These aren't just normal routine wins. Key match facts tell the story. United's win at the Emirates was their first comeback victory away to Arsenal in the Premier League since February 2005. United won away to the team top of the table for the first time since March 2021 and scored 3 or more away to the league leaders for the first time since April 20. Arsenal conceded 3 or more goals in a match for the first time since December 2023, ending an incredible 121 match run across all competitions without conceding more than twice. That combination, historical markers plus the actual manner of the wins, explains why the league reaction has been so sharp and immediate. This isn't just a temporary bounce, it genuinely looks like a new game model arriving quickly. City faced a low possession United that still created genuinely high-quality chances, 2.27 XG. Arsenal faced a United willing to suffer without the ball, then strike again immediately, despite being completely out-touched in the box and outshot overall.
Well here. What an effort that is! Outstanding!
2 elite opponents, 2 completely different game scripts, same outcome both times. That's the foundation of what makes a team genuinely scary. Not perfect football every single week, but repeatable solutions that work regardless of how the game unfolds. 2 matches is still a small sample, so we need to be precise about what we're actually seeing here. This isn't finished dominance or some complete transformation, it's repeatable structure appearing quickly, and that's exactly what makes opponents genuinely nervous. Carrick has already made United capable of winning 2 completely different kinds of games. Against Man City, 2-0, just 31.8% possession, but total control of the dangerous chances with 7 shots on target to City's single effort. Against Arsenal, 3-2, away to the league leaders, again without chasing possession, 43.4%, but managing the crucial moments and striking decisively late. Before he even took charge for the City game, tactical previews laid out what Carrick might lean on: central solidity, controlled progression and flexible shapes, including a Christmas tree 4-3-2-1 option to keep the middle strong and free up key attackers. Now let's break down what that actually looks like across the team and how Carrick is extracting value from every position. At the foundation, Senna Laman's role in the Arsenal win wasn't just about making saves, it was about providing stability in absolute chaos. United were under heavy pressure early, Arsenal had territory and corners piling up, and Carrick's system required the keeper to be calm enough to let the defensive block reset properly rather than panic and just boot the ball anywhere. Match reports highlight several key interventions, including a crucial early reaction save that kept United level. The tactical point here is clear. Carrick's defensive approach relies on surviving sustained pressure without losing shape. That means the keeper has to be part of the reset button, not someone who adds to the chaos. In front of Lamans, when United choose to deliberately concede possession, City had 68.2% of the ball at Old Trafford, the centre-backs aren't being asked to constantly step out and gamble on interceptions. They're asked to win first contacts, protect the box religiously, and keep distances between units tight and organised. Harry Maguire sets the tone for this approach. That's exactly how a team can be massively outpossessed and still concede very few clean looks at goal. The City stat profile proves it. They finished with just 1 shot on target all match. The first defensive priority isn't press high constantly, it's deny central access and force opponents into lower value routes wide. Alongside him, Lisandro Martinez brings the risk and aggression, but Carrick is intelligently channeling it. At Arsenal, Martinez scores an own goal, the kind of moment that would have derailed Old United completely. Instead, the structure actually tightened, intensity rose across the team and they played through it with real character. Match coverage describes how United stepped up immediately and punished Arsenal's errors rather than shrinking. Carrick isn't trying to remove Martinez's United's natural aggression, he's surrounding it with better spacing and support so that one mistake doesn't spiral into a collapse. And the defensive depth is building too. Matthijs de Ligt's return from a back injury will add another dimension entirely. Stronger box defending, more aerial dominance in sustained pressure games, and another organizer to reduce those chaos minutes after momentum swings. Young prospects like Lenny Yoro and Aidan Heaven were both on the bench at Arsenal, ready to provide fresh legs for a system that asks defenders to cover serious space, especially when United counter with pace and opponents overcommit. Out wide, the fullbacks like Diogo Dalot and Luke Shaw are operating on a narrow first, then release principle. Tactical previews discussed how the wide midfielders and number 8s would need to help protect fullbacks, especially against elite wingers. That aligns perfectly with how United survived both City and Arsenal. Fullbacks weren't flying forward recklessly at every opportunity. They were positioned to defend transitions first, then pick their moments carefully to join attacks. The fullbacks are being used as stability pieces, which is exactly why United can go long stretches without the ball and still look genuinely compact and organised. In the middle of the pitch, Carrick's early United look built around a simple but crucial truth. If your defensive midfielder controls the centre properly, you can be brave everywhere else. Against City, the possession numbers scream siege, but the shot profile suggests City were kept completely away from premium scoring zones. Again, just one shot on target all match. Against Arsenal, even when they had sustained territory and dangerous corners, United still limited open play moments enough to stay alive and win it late. Casemiro is the foundation of Carrick's rest defence, the structure that actively prevents counters and second attacking waves when United push forward. Alongside Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo's value is all about tactical maturity beyond his years. Receive under pressure without panicking. Keep tempo sensible, block transitions before they develop. In a team that's transitioning from chaos to genuine coherence, you desperately need at least one midfielder who doesn't constantly chase hero moments. This is why the Christmas tree formation concept matters so much. Carrick's potential setups explicitly prioritize central numbers and crystal clear midfield duties. Mainoo is being coached into a role that makes United significantly harder to counter, not just prettier on the ball, and there's more quality waiting to be unleashed. Mason Mount sat on the bench at the Emirates, which matters enormously because he profiles perfectly as a Carrick-style player. High-intensity presser, quick third-man combinations, and a natural connector between midfield and attack. When Carrick wants to evolve this from dangerous into sustained control, Mount becomes one of the clearest tools as a second presser to lock teams in, as a counter-press leader after turnovers, and as a positional midfielder who helps United keep attacks alive instead of constantly resetting. Further forward, Carrick is using Bruno Fernandes as a genuine game-state weapon rather than just letting him roam freely. He's become the player who decides when United step up collectively, when they spring the press, and when they release runners in behind. That's how United can shift from absorbing pressure to striking fast in seconds. In the Arsenal win, match reports repeatedly link Bruno to the decisive attacking patterns, including the intelligent build-up to Dorgu's crucial goal. Bruno's output under Carrick is less about constant final ball gambling and more about being the precise timing mechanism of United's entire attack. Out on the wing, Amad Diallo is easy to miss in highlight culture because his best work under Carrick isn't always the final shot. It's the connective tissue that makes the whole system actually function. Against Arsenal, multiple observers noted that Amad's contribution leaned heavily into genuine work rate and defensive responsibility, helping United survive Arsenal's early pressure and maintain compact distances on the right side. Carrick is using Amad as a press trigger, the player who steps aggressively to the fullback to force the pass inside, where United's midfield can collapse. He's a transition launchpad, positioned to receive, early when United win it and either carry forward or release quickly. And crucially, he's a balance piece. With Dorgu's aggressive forward positioning on the opposite side, Amad's discipline keeps United from being stretched into two separate, disconnected teams. That's why he has real value even when his end product isn't making headlines. Carrick's early United are built on controlled suffering plus quick punishment, and Amad helps the controlled part hold together. Up front, Bryan Mbeumo has become the clearest example of Carrick ball in action. At Arsenal, United's equaliser came directly from the plan. Arsenal make a midfield error, United pounce instantly with rehearsed movements, and Mbeumo finishes with real composure under pressure. Match coverage also frames his wider season profile. Goals against all the major sides, landmark Premier League goal tally, and that matters because it tells you Carrick isn't relying on some random purple patch. He's deliberately leaning on a forward whose output genuinely travels to the biggest games. United are being actively coached to attack mistakes like their set pieces, immediate, rehearsed, absolutely ruthless. And when Carrick needs to change the attacking script entirely, Joshua Zirkzee offers a completely different profile. Hold-up play, intelligent linking, late box arrivals, which gives United an alternative to pure transition football when opponents start sitting deeper. He's currently sidelined with a muscular issue, but his return adds another tactical dimension. Then there's Patrick Dorgu, who represents the unfair part for opponents because he simply doesn't behave like a normal fullback or wingback. Coverage notes he looked more forward than fullback and kept his place in the team, then delivered that stunning long-range strike after linking intelligently with Bruno. That tells you Carrick is deliberately creating a positional overload. Dorgu arrives from zones defenders don't naturally want to track, and when he's allowed to set himself, the shooting threat becomes genuinely dangerous. Carrick is manufacturing danger from non-obvious sources, which makes defending United far less predictable. Finally, Matheus Cunha's winner at the Emirates is the kind of goal people casually dismiss as just a moment of individual quality. But the more important detail is why Cunha was even in that specific moment. He was introduced deliberately to add directness late in the game, and when Arsenal overcommitted after equalising, United had exactly the transition profile needed to punish them. Arsenal thought they'd rescued a point, and then United struck back almost immediately through Cunha. Live coverage emphasises the same rhythm. Arsenal equalise, United respond within minutes, Emirates goes completely quiet. Carrick has already shown an elite managerial trait, making substitutions that actually match the game state, not just throwing names on from the bench and hoping. Carrick's early wins aren't just about the starting 11 performing well, they're about the genuine range of solutions beginning to appear across the entire squad. Mount offers control and relentless counter-pressing when Carrick wants to suffocate games. Yoro and Heaven help the system survive the physical cost of defending space across a long season. Zirkzee changes the attacking geometry completely when opponents refuse to engage in transitions. De Ligt raises the ceiling of the entire back line when the schedule compresses and margins get tighter. That's exactly how a two-game sample starts feeling genuinely scary to opponents, because it looks like the floor is rapidly rising and the ceiling hasn't even been properly tested yet. So far, United's emerging identity can be summarised in 3 simple rules that show up clearly in both statement wins. Central solidity first, don't get split through the middle under any circumstances. Attack transitions like a system. Errors punished instantly, runners already primed and ready. Game state management, absorbing pressure without panic, then striking at the exact moment opponents lose their structure. That's exactly why the unplayable talk has already started after just 2 matches. Not because United have suddenly become flawless, but because they've become genuinely hard to solve quickly. And that's terrifying for opponents. Manchester United aren't suddenly perfect, they're clear. Clear in structure, clear in roles, clear in how they suffer, and clearer still in how they strike. Under Michael Carrick, United have already beaten Manchester City one way, Arsenal another, and done it without chasing possession and without needing everything to go right. That's the part that should worry the rest of the league, because this isn't peak performance yet. De Ligt hasn't returned. Mount and Zirkzee are still very reliable. Rotation options are still untouched, and opponents haven't fully adjusted. What Carrick has restored first is the hardest thing to build: coordination under pressure. Once a team has that, improvements scale fast. So the real question isn't, are United unplayable right now? It's, what happens when this structure sharpens and the squad is fully unleashed? That's when this story gets truly dangerous.